everybody, and welcome to my channel. My name is Stephanie, and today we are going to be talking about tummy tucks. Sorry this video is long. I'm gonna try to have timestamps down in the description box, but I want to make sure that this video is as thorough as possible when it comes to me telling you guys about my experience and the process, just because I know that I found these types of videos helpful before I got my surgery. So I kind of want to just make sure I talk to you guys about everything, so that you guys kind of get an idea of what to expect. But just keep in mind, my experience and my situation is going to be different than yours. Sorry, I can't really talk. I'm actually 2 weeks post-op today. So I do have shapewear on, and it still is really hard for me to sit down for a long period of time and talk. So if I get a little winded, or my speech gets a little weird, I'm sorry. It's just I'm still trying to get comfortable with things. But let's get right into the video. So let's talk about why I got a tummy tuck. So I am a mom of two. I have 2 kids. I have an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old. But the thing is, with my first pregnancy, although I'll have to make a separate video on that, but I gained a lot of weight and I got botched. I got botched when I had a C-section. So it wasn't like I had my kids and then I could bounce back. Like, that incident and that experience on its own just messed up my body, and because of that, it just became a huge insecurity of mine. And before my second baby and after my second baby, I kind of just let myself go. And I would fluctuate a lot with my weight, but for the most part, I was always, on the heavier side, because I was just kind of to a point where I was like, what's the point of dieting and working out if nothing that I do will get rid of the way my tummy area looks? Even when I got to my lowest weight, I just still looked fat, because there was just so much dead skin and it was just horrible. So I've been wanting a tummy tuck for a long time, but I knew that it was a lot of money and it was gonna be a lot mentally and physically. So although I would talk about it and try to manifest it, I never really thought that it was going to happen. But this year, my boyfriend actually, around July, he was like, you know what? I promised you this a long time ago, and I'm finally able to do it for you. I have this much amount of money, and you know what? I'm going to gift you your tummy tuck. And honestly, it was so surreal to me, and it still is, that I was able to do this. But so yeah, so that's kind of where I started, why I needed this procedure done, and how I came to get it. So let's kind of talk about the process. So my boyfriend told me that again around July, I want to say July, August. And even though I knew that he was gifting me this, I was still kind of anxious, because it's a lot, and I knew I had to be sure about where I was gonna go and when I was gonna go, because there was no going back. Once I did it, I knew there was no going back. So I called a few places, and my number one thing was like, how much is it? How long do I have to pay for it? And when their next surgery date was. Some places, keep in mind, are booked the whole year, so you won't get a surgery date until the next year, but your surgery must be paid in full pretty much the year before, if that makes sense. So for example, I've called some places and they're like, okay, you have, like 2 weeks to pay your surgery, but you're not gonna get surgery till like March 2022. And I knew that I wanted my surgery done this year, so that was like a no. Other places were like, okay, this is the amount, and it was just too much, and I was like, sorry, I gotta think about that. And I'm gonna get more into like the pricing aspect of it later, but another thing that I had to consider was distance. Like I said, I have 2 kids, so I knew that, with school and just for my peace of mind, I couldn't go anywhere like too far. And then I don't drive, so I knew that again I had to go somewhere, somewhat close in case, I had follow-up appointments or anything went wrong, family could get to me, or family could take me. And so those were things that I had to consider. And yeah, so make sure that when you're shopping around while you're looking around for a doctor, that you know what you're looking for, that you kind of have an idea, make a plan, and you ask all the questions that need to be done, that you don't just go to the first doctor you see, or just because, oh, they're like hype on Instagram, okay, I'm gonna go to a doctor. Like, no, like do your research. Make sure you go to a board certified surgeon. Make sure that you read reviews. Make sure that you get as much information as you need. When you go to these consultations, make sure you're asking all the questions. So that's what I was doing. So I didn't rush the process. I was taking my time. I was still considering my options. And then I had someone who I knew go to this doctor, which I'll talk about where I went and my doctor. And so hearing their experience, even though they didn't get the same procedure I got, they got something else. Hearing their experience, how they were treated, it just kind of like made me be like, okay, like let's see what this is about. So I made my free consultation with them in September 22nd, and I have the paperwork right here. So if I'm looking down, it's because I'm like giving you guys actual real information. So so it was September 22nd. I had my consultation, so my free consultation. So I went, I met up with the doctor's assistant, and I went to Cosmetic Care Plastic Surgery Center and Med Spa in Newport Beach, California. And this is my doctor, Dr. Brian Regan. That's what he looks like. So then I went to my consultation. I met up with his assistant, and they gave me paperwork to fill out. Always be honest when filling out that paperwork. They will ask you a lot of questions, and make sure to take your time. Even if the packet is really, really big, just make sure you're reading everything, the fine print, and that you're honest with all the questions that are asked. And so I met up with the assistant, and she kind of asked me kind of just general questions as to what I wanted, what I was looking for. Made some notes on that. The doctor came in. It was really quick, and during that first consultation, I didn't have a lot of questions because, again, I didn't know for sure if he was going to be my doctor. And since I had seen other doctors and talked to other people, I kind of already had some answers to other questions. So it was really quick with this doctor. He pretty much just asked me what I wanted to change about my body, what I was looking for, and I got undressed, and he saw my body, Okay, am I a good candidate for the tummy tuck? Yes, okay. You know, he was like, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Okay, if you're ready to go, just set your appointment with my assistant. So then he stepped out, and then his assistant, you know, they give you pretty much a breakdown of what your quote is. And for me, I was going to need a skin removal. So the tummy tuck, abdominoplasty. I can't pronounce it, but I'll insert the word here. So like the skin removal, and it had to be kind of an extended tummy tuck because, like I said, I was sponged, and I will tell you guys about that in another video. But so it had to be extended, so a little bit, you know, hip to hip, a little bit towards the back, kind of. Liposuction of the front of my ab area, but he ended up doing on the sides as well, so he ended up contouring me as well for free. But what I paid for was just the front and muscle repair. So, you know, after you have babies, your muscles aren't the same. I've had two, so my muscles were just honestly crap. So, you know, he stitched me up. And also with that, I have a year insurance with them. So if anything goes wrong with my tummy tuck, I get sick, in result of my tummy tuck, they take care of me, and I don't come out of pocket with that. So that is nice. And so my procedures, keep in mind that when I talk about the price for the procedure, that's just the price for the procedure. But sometimes there's other things like fees that you have to also think about that can happen. So sometimes if you call and you'll be like, oh, okay, so how much is your tummy tuck? They might say, oh, it's $9,000. But will it be $9,000? No, because everywhere that I've gone, there's always been other sort of fees. And even if you don't have fees, keep in mind there's always extra costs after surgery, and I will talk about all that when I talk about the pricing more in depth. But so she gave me my quote, and I will reveal the price later on when I talk about pricing. And she just let me know, okay, it's gonna be $1,000 non-refundable deposit, and it does go towards the surgery, so that's nice, to get a surgery date. So as I'm editing, I noticed that I didn't mention something that is actually pretty neat that the doctor I go with does, and that's the fact that they take pictures of you, and not only to reference if you do decide to book with them as a like before picture, but they Photoshop your picture to give you an idea of what you might look like after surgery. And although I'm not gonna go like too deep into this little topic, just know that in order to literally look like the bomb.com, some people, and when I say some people, I'm talking about celebrities like Instagram, social media, just actors, celebrities, just in general, they get multiple procedures done. So be realistic with yourself. And that's something that I had to do, that I had to kind of like set in my mind, that I was starting at a really bad point. I have still a lot to do as far as like working out and toning and maybe another round of lipo. So just be realistic. I am still very happy with my results, and honestly like in a much better headspace, but just be realistic with yourself that you are not going to look like Kylie Jenner with one procedure. So yeah, that's it. And that's really cool, the fact that they're able to Photoshop and give you kind of like a version of what you might look like after your surgery. So quick little thing that I forgot to mention. But yeah, back to my video. So I went home and I spoke about it with my boyfriend, and I wanted to make sure that, you know, this was going to be it, I was going to do it, that, you know, we were all on the same page as far as like, okay, getting it done. So we said yes, and I emailed her, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to set my surgery date. She sent me a link where I could, you know, give the non-refundable deposit, and I was set for November 16th, actually this month. And so a couple days after I had already booked my appointment, I started getting really anxious, and that was because of, you know, just the fact that it was done and that I had a surgery date. And I started thinking about, you know, my situation with my first pregnancy and the delivery, and just the fact that I've had anemia in the past, you know. So I hadn't had like a physical done in a while. So I messaged her again, and before I looked elsewhere to get a physical, I just, you know, was curious, like, okay, how much do you guys charge if I want a physical or like some lab work done prior to surgery? And I explained why, and she was like, you know what, we want you to feel safe, we want you to feel comfortable, so we're going to give you the labs for free. We're going to make sure everything's fine and give you that peace of mind. And honestly, like, that's positive points. Like, you already know that you're dealing with professionals, and that, you know, they're already trying to make you feel safe. And so that made me feel more like confident into like the decision, like confident like going into surgery. So then so then some time goes by, and then I receive a letter. I do have the letter. So they send me a letter pretty much of my next steps prior to surgery, and they gave me a pre-op appointment. And so in this appointment, I was going to have my lab works done, and I was going to get additional time with a doctor to ask any, you know, last minute questions that I might have before surgery. So my surgery was scheduled November 16th, and my pre-op appointment was given to me November 3rd. So also with that letter, they gave me pretty much like a list, a packet of things that I cannot and can consume as far as medication and certain foods to avoid before my surgery. So make sure that if you do get paperwork, that you read them, that if you have any questions, that you're able to call like the facility, speak to someone and ask the questions that you need to ask. For me, it was honestly like a big packet, so I'm not gonna go through it or like all the things, but that I was personally taking, that I stopped taking, was like Advil, ibuprofen, Excedrin, because I suffer from migraines. As far as foods, like papaya, onions, garlic, that's just some of the stuff that were on the list, so that I stopped taking. And so November 3rd comes, and I get blood drawn out, and that was for my labs. And I saw the doctor again. They took more before pictures, literally kind of like a 360, and I had no other questions. I filled out another packet of paperwork And I just kind of just let them know again about allergies I had. I kind of talked to them again about my prior C-section experience, and they answered my questions. I saw the doctor again. He was like, "You're good to go, like don't worry, like everything's good." So then after my pre-op appointment, it was just a matter of like taking care of myself. And when I'm saying taking care of myself, I'm just talking about like drinking my water and trying to eat right. And for me, I was still trying to lose as much weight as possible before my surgery, because I was still on the heavier side back in September when I booked. So I lost like 10 pounds between September when I booked and when I actually had my surgery. And I'll make a separate video talking about, like weight loss and what I did. But that's pretty much it. I am just trying not to stress. And a couple days before my surgery, I pretty much sanitized my home. I decluttered, I cleaned, I stacked up the pantry, I stacked up the fridge. I made sure everything was clean, and that was because I had a drainless tummy tuck, and I'll go a little bit into that in a bit. But I wasn't going to stay in the hospital. I was going to have my surgery, and then I was going to come out and be able to go home. So when I was looking into surgeries, I didn't even know this was an option. I thought like all tummy tucks were the same with the drains, and no, there's actually a drainless tummy tuck. And so what it is, I'm not a professional, and doing more research on it, but there is no drains. It's completely closed. This is again my second week, and I have like no drains. I have like my faja on, but there's no drains. I would show you the rest, but I have no bottoms because it kind of like hurt when it like sit and there's like waistband, but I have no drains. And so it's a quicker recovery, and I was able to go home with other people that I went to before coming to this doctor. I had a mandatory 1-day stay at the hospital, which was an extra cost. And so for me, that's why I kind of was like, oh, just keep waiting. I'll just keep like looking, because it was always like, you have to stay in the hospital and it's gonna be like an extra cost. And I just was like, I'm just gonna wait. So with this doctor, I didn't have to stay in the hospital. I could come home. You could stay in the hospital if you want to. Like, it's an option. Don't think it's not. But it's not mandatory, because, with a drainless tummy tuck, the point is that your recovery is a little bit faster and you don't have those strains, so you can go home, rest, and recover at home. The only thing is that you do have to be seeing your physician. So I do go every week to see the doctor, and after surgery I did have to return, and I'll get into that in a bit. So that's pretty much what I got done, a drainless tummy tuck. So there's no drains, completely closed, got done. And again, like the muscle repair and lipo. So then my surgery day comes, and So also very important. So 3 days prior to surgery, I had to shower in a special like soap. It's supposed to like kill bacteria that we get, and make sure that you're cleaning good. You're cleaning your belly button good, like the inside of your belly button, like very important. Like you're scrubbing good, because that's gonna like help like not getting any infections, you know. So I did that, and then they called me the night before. So on November 15th, they called me and they set me up for my appointment or my surgery for November 16th at 6 in the morning. So I woke up early, like around 4, I believe 4 in the morning or 4:30, and I showered with that soap one last time, my stomach. You have to take off all your nail polish, no extensions, no nail polish, no makeup. My piercings had to come off. Some of my piercings even closed because I had to take them off. And yeah, like nothing, like no gel, like completely clean. So, and you know, you want to wear comfy clothing. So I wore a pajama, and it's recommended that you wear a button one because obviously you can't really like stretch. So you just want to, you know, like put it on and button it up, and you know, like slippers, like no sneakers. So yeah, so I woke up early, showered. I fasted. So the night before I stopped eating, like at 9 I stopped eating. So I fasted. I hadn't ate. You can't eat, you can't drink water, you can't even use mouthwash, you can't even eat a mint or gum, like nothing. So after 9 I started fasting. So then yeah, so I showered, we got to the doctor, me and my boyfriend. My kids actually stayed with their grandma, and I had dropped them off the night before. So I dropped them off the night before so I didn't have to worry about them. So me and my boyfriend went to the doctor, and it's a building. On the top they have their consultations, and the second floor, and in the first floor they actually have like their hospital. So it was like in the same building I went to my consultation to, but it was not in the second floor, it was in the first floor that I had to be in. And so I went, I, you know, checked in. I still had to fill out more paperwork, and then they even came out and gave me like a little gift bag, and they have like things you might need for surgery, like I think they gave me like a kind of like a paper thing for people that have lipo and you know, have open drains or whatever, so it won't like stain the car. They gave me tape, they gave me gauze, I'm not sure what else they gave me, but they gave me a couple of things. And so they gave me that, and I waited pretty much like 10 minutes. I was kind of nervous a little bit, and then they called my name because of COVID. You know, my boyfriend had to wait in the waiting area. This little waiting area, and I went in alone. I went in, had to take everything off. They give you a bag for all your belongings, and then they gave me a bed, and the nurse kind of went over everything as far as like my allergies, if I have any questions, and I said no. I waited a little bit again. They had me pee in a cup, make sure that I'm not pregnant. So they took me like a pregnancy test, and then I waited a little bit longer, and then they put an IV on me, and then the anesthesiologist came. He asked me questions again, you know, try to get me to be comfortable. And once that happened, the doctor came in. He did his markings in my belly, and again asked me if I had any questions. So no. Okay, grab your blanket and your pillow, and we literally walked to the operating room, and it was like just this small room with like a table, and they had music going, and they were like, okay, just get on the table, get comfortable. And I just remember kind of humming to the song that was on, and then I was out. Like, I was out. Next thing I remember is kind of, like waking up a little bit, but it was so hard for me to wake up. Like, I just wanted to sleep. Like, my eyes felt like so heavy, And I just remember kind of like slurring words. I don't know what I was saying, but I could hear myself talking and just trying to go to sleep, but I just felt like people changing me, and it was the nurses changing me. And after that, like, I remember bits and pieces, but I was honestly still so out of it from the anesthesia that I don't remember much. I don't remember getting into the car. I remember a little bit like the car ride that my boyfriend was telling me, like, wake up, you can't be sleeping, and me trying my best to wake up. And I'll insert a clip of that because he actually recorded me.
She said she's eating air. I'm eating air.
Gotta wake up.
I'm trying, but I'm so asleep. I don't remember getting home. I don't remember getting into bed. I just remember being really sleepy. I was not in pain. And when I woke up after my nap, after I got home, that's when it hit me. Like, it hurt so bad. So let's talk about the pain. Honestly, before surgery, I was like, no, I got this. I already went through 2 C-sections, one like really botched C-section where I even almost died. And again, sorry for another day. But I was like, no, I'm ready. No, like, the pain was not at all what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a 6. It was more than a 10. I was on Percocets for about 5 days, and I was taking them almost every 4 hours because it was so uncomfortable. It was so painful. It felt like burning. It felt like just bad. I couldn't lay down. I couldn't sit down. Just like anything I did, walking, it was just so painful. The only thing that got me through it was having like the mindset of, you've wanted this for so long. You're here now. You need to go through this for a couple days. You got this because you've been wanting this for a long time. And that's the only thing that kind of kept me going, because honestly the pain was so horrible. And right now I'm 2 weeks post-op and I still have some pain, and there are still limits as to what my body can do and what I can do, but nothing compared to the first week. Like, the first 7 days were horrible. And on top of that, I couldn't shower because when you shower, like, you could get, your belly button wet and your incision wet, and that could create an infection if it stays damp and moist. So I couldn't shower for a week. This is the first week I actually was able to take a shower, and I still can't take like a full-on shower. I still have to, like, be really careful with the area, and I cover it with like a bag, and I, dry it with a blow dryer to make sure that it's dry, and that I don't leave any damp so it doesn't, create an infection. But the 7 days from, the 16th to whatever the 7th day of that is, I had to take antibiotic, and like I said, I was on Percocet, and I was so constipated, and that was just horrible as well, because you can't push, and then you realize how much things like on a daily you do that require muscle work. Even like picking up a plate, like a little bowl of soup, was so heavy to me. You want to make sure that you have help, like you have someone there with you to get you up from bed, to lay you in bed, to sit you down, to pick you up from sitting down, to wipe your butt, like to just feed you, like that first day, because I couldn't even feed myself the first day. It was like till the second day where I was like, okay, like with a Percocet, and after they helped me sit down or sit up, that I was able to eat. But the first day I could not do it myself. That you have someone there to help you, like make you your food and get you your things, because again, like I could walk a little bit, but after a certain time, like it was like, okay, I need to sit down. And even now, like it's like that, like I can't walk for a long time. I could walk for a certain amount of time, but even then, like I have to have a break, and I get winded, and I can't sit for a long time, and I can't lay down for a long time. But it's nothing compared to the first week. Hi guys, so really quick, again, I'm editing, and I just kind of want to tell you guys what my day was looking like as far as like after surgery for 7 days. It was honestly just consisting of eating, sleeping, watching TV, laying down, sitting on the couch, doing a little bit of walking, and using the restroom. But I was not doing anything. If it were for me, I would have been asleep for the 7 days, so I wouldn't feel anything. But yeah, that's all I was doing. I didn't record much last week because again, I was in pain and it was uncomfortable, but I did record a little bit, and whatever I have recorded, I'll go ahead and insert now. Again, I wasn't doing anything. So it's boring, but just letting you guys know kind of like a little bit of what I was doing last week. I pretty much just watched Harry Potter, like never watched Harry Potter, so literally that's all I did. Watched every movie, every Harry Potter movie, and eat soup and sleep, and that's it. So I'll go ahead and insert that right now, and I'll go ahead and keep getting back to the video. But yeah. Um, so you will need someone there. Like you will need someone there to help you. Thankfully, again, I have my boyfriend. He's an angel, and he's literally been doing everything since I couldn't shower or take a bath. Like he would clean me with a cloth, he would change me, feed me, make sure that I was getting my medication on, like on time. So make sure that you have help. And for me, it was easier to kind of just send my kids away for a couple of days with their grandma, because he didn't stress and I didn't stress, and he was able to focus more on me, and I was able to focus more on just like recovering and trying to feel better. So You know, those are things to also think about when you're gonna, you know, get like a procedure like this done, that you won't be able to be self-sufficient or independent. You're going to need someone to do things for you or help you do things. Even now, sometimes I need help. I need help wiping my butt sometimes. I need help, you know, reaching things. I need help, you know, like carrying things. I can't carry heavy things. So just keep in mind that you will need help during your recovery process. So you might want to have, you know, like a best friend, a husband, a boyfriend, a mom, whoever you trust enough to, you know, take care of you, be there to take care of you. So, with that time off, I'm lucky enough that I'm a stay-at-home mom. That you have time off, even with a strainless tummy tuck that is, you know, like a faster recovery, you still need to take time off to recover. Like I said, especially that first week was brutal for me, and even now with my second week, I still need a lot of help. So depending on your profession and what you do, you need to make sure you have some time off and that you're able to take some time off. And as far as even with kids, that you have help with the kids. And for me, like I said, it was honestly something that I recommend. You know, if you can have someone take care of your kids outside the home, especially for like the first 2 days, do it, because you want to just focus on yourself, and you want that person who's taking care of you focus on you, because you will need a lot of help. So we already talked about pretty much my pre-op, kind of like how my recovery is going, and like I said, it's my second week. I'll show what I look like right now. But keep in mind, what I look like right now, it's not the final result, it's not the final product. I am not going to see results until 4 to 6 months from now. So I'm still swollen, I'm still in pain, and it's still gonna take some time. I'm not in as much pain as I was as last week. So right now I'm just on Tylenol, but you know, just keep that in mind. Like, I'm still recovering, I'm still having to take some time off, you know, I'm still needing to take care of myself. So that's that. And kind of going a little bit back, so I had my surgery, and the next day I had to go see the doctor again, make sure that I was not bleeding, that there was like no water forming in my stomach, that my belly button looked good, and I'll insert a picture of what I looked like the day after my surgery. And now it's like I have to see the doctor every week. So every week, every Wednesday, I go and see the doctor, and again, they just make sure that I'm, you know, healing properly, that there's no water forming, that my belly button is good, that there's no infection. And right now I'm wearing two fajas or shapewears. I'm wearing this black one, and it kind of looks like this, and it has some of these types of clips or whatever. So I'm wearing that. And then it has, oh, we can put it back on. It has a zipper. And it's a full body one. And then I have to wear this one on top. And I'll just put it like this for now, fix it in a bit. So I'm wearing two. And I have to, it's not mandatory to wear it the full 4 to 6 months. Right now, I've been told by the doctor that it's just mandatory to wear for about like 4 to 6 weeks. But I do plan on wearing them until probably 6 months or more, just because I want my waist to be really defined and, you know, kind of shape my body. So that is why I'm gonna wear them for longer. But you know, talk to your doctor and ask for your situation how long you should be wearing your garments for. And I do wear the white one all the time, 24/7, and the black one I just wear during the day. So from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep. When I go to sleep, I just take it off and I just put on the white one, and it's just more comfortable for me. But the white one I wear all the time. And that's going to help with the swelling, and again, to like kind of shape your body. So that's that. And as far as that, well, because I'm still in the process of recovery, there's really not much more I can say, except that I can probably make another video with another update from now to that point in time, because again, I'm still swollen. I'm still gonna see more results later on, so I can do that. But now let's talk about pricing. How much was this procedure? Again, I did not pay for this. My boyfriend paid for this. But let's talk about pricing and all that. So keep in mind, a lot of places offer different ways to pay surgery, but all of them require for your surgery to be paid in full before your surgery. So keep in mind that you must have the financial means for the surgery before the surgery. So before you even think about, you know, getting consultations and doing all that, make sure that you have the money. Make sure that you at least have, you know, some money to work with. So let's talk about pricing. So the total amount that my boyfriend paid for my surgery was $12,635. Okay, so keep in mind, one, I live in California and I had my surgery done in Newport Beach, California. So it's already like pricey up here. And two, keep in mind that this is with some fees included. So if I'm just talking about like the procedure itself, the breakdown of what I'm paying for, okay, for like the skin removal and the muscle repair, it's $7,000, give or take. Liposuction for just the front of my stomach. Okay, so just the front of my abs. The side was kind of like a gift to me from the doctor, but I just paid for the front. If you need extra lipo, keep in mind it could be more, but I just paid for the front. And that was $1,530, give or take. And then I paid for 1 year insurance with them. So again, if there's any issues with my tummy tuck, they will cover any expenses and they will take care of the issue for me. So that altogether is like $8,830, around there, and that's just my procedures. So there's extra fees. So there's the facility fee and for the anesthesiologist, and that was $3,800. So combined, it's $12,635. So keep that in mind, because I know sometimes I would call or like go to consultations and I would be like, okay, so how much is your tummy tuck? Oh, it's $8,000. They're just giving you the price for the procedure, or the starting price for the procedure. but they're not giving you the total amount. And that can change because once the doctor looks at you and you go to that consultation, he might say like, okay, to get the best results, you need lipo here and you need lipo here, and we need to do a little bit more, and it all adds up. So because I had lost that 10 pounds, I didn't need lipo like in the back, like the rolls. But I had gone to another consultation and I hadn't lost the 10 pounds yet, and I had like a little bit of the rolls back here. And for lipo, it was going to be like almost like 2,500 because I needed lipo here, I needed a lot of lipo here, and so that added up. And my quote for that doctor was like almost 16 grand. Also, keep in mind that there's extra costs. So this quote, and this was just for like the surgery itself, but I had to pay for medication. I had to pay for, they provided me this white faja, this white shapewear garment, whatever. But I had to pay for like the actual like, other shapewear that I'm wearing. Well, not me, because I actually borrowed this one. But once my body gets used to this one, I do have to purchase another one, because right now this one's a size medium because I'm swollen, but I'm already feeling it a little bit loose, so I'm gonna have to buy a smaller one. So then I have to purchase that, and that's an extra cost. Going to even see this doctor every week, it's a cost because I live about an hour away. So gas is not cheap here in California. Like, we're already to $5. So just little things like that, just keep in mind that there are going to be extra costs. So you want to make sure that you are able to pay for a little bit more than that. Also, when you take time off, like I said, I'm fortunate enough to be a stay-at-home mom, and that my boyfriend is financially taking care of the responsibilities at home. But you know, you have rent still, you have bills still, you have, you know, other expenses from just being home. So you want to make sure that you're able to afford to take the time off and get those things still paid off. So it's not just about, you know, just that quote. Like, you have to think that, you know, there's still going to be other costs. And like I said, they offer ways to pay it. So you can pay cash, you could pay debit, check, and credit. For me and for my boyfriend, we didn't want any debt, so this was paid off cash, done deal. Other people, you know, they might do some cash, some credit, but like I said, the procedure must be paid in full before getting a surgery date. So you must have the money ready to go, and then you deal with, you know, payment plans through your credits if you know, swipe credit cards. There's also a thing called Care Credit. I don't have it, but I know of others who use it, and that's kind of like to get medical things done. So like, you can even get your lips done with that, or Botox or whatever, in places that accept Care Credit. So you can apply for that as well, and that can help pay for the surgery. So that's that, and I think that's pretty much it. As far as like what I have to say about the whole process and stuff, just make sure that you drink a lot of water during your recovery, that you're eating, you know, like easy foods that will sit well in your stomach. I've been eating like a lot of soups, salads, fruit, pineapple especially, helps with the swelling. And as far as like just like the surgery and the doctor itself, that's honestly one other thing that I think I forgot to say or mention. Like the day of my surgery, my doctor called me personally to just make sure I was okay, if I had any questions. So that too, like, I liked about this place because they just made me feel like very comfortable, and just that they were on top of, you know, taking care of me and making sure that I was okay, recovering okay. But yeah, like I said, I think that's it for this video. It's very long, and I hope I wasn't too like much out of place. I was just trying to make sure that I'm giving as much information as possible. But yeah, so that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.